Alright, we're getting ready to drill out this cam cover here for a knucklehead outside oiler. It's going to be on a panhead, but he's using an outside oiler feed for some reason. So anyway, this here is a repop knuckle cover here, and I use this to get the location for the hole and the angle. But this is different than the face here. So when you look at it, this is actually going uphill a little bit. We can see it just right. So we actually have a 2.1 degree uphill tilt to this, which shoots it down so it lines up flush with this hole right here. Because when you look at this, this here is further in than this here. So to compensate for that, this is drilled at an angle, so when it gets down to here, they're together. Now what we got to do is we got to line up with this oil battery right down here, which is drilled right through this hole here, going at this angle. And we're going to come in down through here and catch this transition point right in the middle. So what we're going to do is we're going to guess how deep that is by the time we're down to here. So this is going to be a little bit deeper than here, so there's a slight angle shift. So I need to figure out how much we're going to compensate on my hole here. Now I got this angle plate here stuck in here at the 2.1 degree difference using our digital level right here. So we stuck that back in there, and should give you 89 and or 87.9 should give us our number we're looking for. So we're at 0.8 right there. It was 9 earlier. Anyway, it's too hard to read it at this angle, but anyway, when you hold it straight, holding it straight makes a big difference. Anyway, it comes in at the 0.9, the 2.1 degree what we need. So 90 straight up and down, so you take 2.1 off of that, you get 87.9. Or 86, yeah, 87.9. 86, yeah, whatever hell number it is. Too late in the day. Anyway, I got this mounted to this plate. I had to put the shins back in here because we got the bushing sticking up. As you can see right here also. These stick up above the surface here. So you have to compensate for the brass bushes there. So I previously welded this material on right here, so it would look, so you'd have this boss on here like this one is. It'll lay anywhere. It'll stay there now. So I had to build this up. The panhead one only has a boss that was about this thick, so I had to build this all up. So I built it up and I blended it into here. So when I come back and grind this, I'll make it a nice even transition like it is up in here. Make it look pretty. This is all low spots in here that I filled in. So right, we got roughly about a 700th thou width area right here. You split the difference, which is 350 from side to side. You might have an extra 20 over here. You can fudge another 10. But somewhere in that 350 to 370 area is your offset from this gasket surface to here. And then we're at that 2.1 degree tilt, obviously. So right now, when you put your straight edge on here, wherever it went to, I'm coming up a little bit off center here, but you gotta remember this hole is quite a bit higher than this point over here. So we're actually drilling in that much deeper. So we're good 3/4 of an inch to an inch deeper. So it's going to be a little bit different by the time it gets further in. So I come off the drill bit right here. You can see how far over on that hole on that side. You come over on this side over here. And you can see how it's right on the edge of the hole over here. So when it gets down, when it drills down further, down to here, we should be intersecting this gallery here. Now this gallery here is fairly big. It's 190 thou on this side. This is only 157 drill bit, so we should be able to touch it pretty easily. Now the tap drill for the 1/8 inch pipe thread, which is what this fitting is a Q drill, which is a 337 thousandths. So there's all these different things laying around here. So I'll get that out of the way. So I got two different fittings here to determine how deep to tap it. I'm going to use an 1/8 inch pipe plug or pipe tap to go in. So I got two different ones here to choose from. Let's see, probably have to use my T-handle. So this will give us our thread. This is a bottoming tap. This one here's a tapered. So we usually start with a tapered one, then we go into the bottom one. which is one I just shortened up. I don't want to drill this real deep at that big hole size, so we're only going to go in there so far. And yet to determine how far that's going to be yet, and we'll make it up as we go as usual. I also have not surfaced the top of this yet, which I'll have to come back and do that. And we have a little bit of radius cutter right here, so we'll have to figure out what we're going to use for that also. Right now I need to at least get that halfway flat, so I'm going to go in here and grab an end mill. I'll just grab something I can put in my drill choke. Now you're not supposed to hold end mills in your drill choke. Any good machinist knows you're not supposed to do that. It's a good thing there's no good machinist around here. Otherwise, half the stuff I do will be not recommended on. I just pretty much make it up as I go what I'm going to do. So you can almost see a cam cover way over there. Yep, somewhere over there you can see it. I'll pull back a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. Basically, I'm just going to flatten this out. Get it to be the right size. I already figured out the center dimension before, so I'm going to go back to that number. Right there. I like the where I'm at, because I can't go down a radius. I'm going to pull it back a little bit. Come back later and put a radius in there. Pull back 50 thou for that. Okay. Cut 10 thou at a time. Close to what I want there. Pull back far to that. Put in a little bit. Hand leveling there. Always notice cheating. Okay, I'm going to get 5 more thou. A little bit of a low spot left. That gives a nice flat spot to work from. Grab the camera real quick so you can see. So you can see how I did that. Turn the light off. Might help. Yeah, maybe. So here's my edge right here. Hard to see. Either way it's hard to see. Yeah, pull back further might help. Okay, so I got an edge right here. I'll hand blend that in with a die grinder. So I came in at an angle and I just kind of fed it in and followed the edge right here. Right off the edge right to there. So now I didn't want to cut into this big radius right here, so I just cheated a little bit. So we'll go ahead and do that with a little die grinder, dress it up, make it look pretty. So came into here a little bit. Now right now we're a little bit low right here, but I'm going to leave that. Just kind of like a little witness mark around the edge, that's fine. We'll blend this here on the outside by hand with a little grinder. And depending on what the hole looks like here, we'll just blend all this around to make it look even. So now we can go ahead and drill it. So I'll go back on our center point, and we'll use a center drill here, right here, and we'll put our hole right where we want it to go. Now we got a flat surface so we can actually see what it looks like. So everything is a little bit here, a little bit there. Fudge it until it looks good. Front with the camera, as you see, we're too close or too far to see what's happening. So let's try this, see what happens this time. Alright, you can almost see something. The key word on that was almost. Okay, we'll try that a little bit. Pull back slightly so you can see something. Okay, put our center drill in here. Back to our 0 point. Hopefully I zeroed it before I moved it. That's why you gotta zero it before you move. And you can come back. So we'll put on 0 and see if that's actually what I want it to be. There's 0. Looks close. Put a little dimple mark in there so I can see. I remember it was about 350 before. And I'm at 400, so that is not the correct spot. So I got to add in my 40 offset I had in there. Because I remember what the offset was. Try another dimple. Looks a lot better. Still looks like it might be off a little bit, but doesn't look right, so I'll come back here and check it again. Do my straight edge alignment. And we are definitely not in that same location. That's why I got to zero it before I moved it. I made so many changes I didn't re-zero it, so now I get to backtrack, figure out what the hell I'm doing here. For some reason it appears to be way different than it was. That does not make sense. I'm going to be what number here? It must have been the 360 number was the number I had on the drill bit. 5. Okay, I'm going to respot it on center. It's hard for you to see all this. That's why I hate tripods. You can't get to where you need to be. So that is about completely the worthless of video you can possibly make there. Everybody says they like tripod shots. I hate them. Can't see a damn thing. Okay, so basically, where's my drill bit at here? The drill is going to be going right in here. So we're centered up for where we need to be top to bottom, unless that moved. So we're going down our oil gallery right here. So if you put your drill bit on there in the center of the boss, like that, it should hide the point. Or if you look at it this way, it should be straight. Looks pretty good. So we know that part's on center. Now the next thing is we got to figure out what our center point is going this direction. Coming down, and it should be on center. So it's going to be roughly about like that. So that looks like a good spot. Plus I remember the dimension I had for this. So when you put this right in there like that, it's basically about the center. That's about where it's going to sit on the cover. So we're a little bit closer here than what the aftermarket cover over here was. The thickness for this plate, right, distance right in there. Now that's either going to be good or bad, I'm not sure. This can be worked on here a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and cheat on my offset up there. I'm going to go another 5 or 10 more over. Let's see what 10 looks like. 10 will move it over this way just a little bit. So, it'll be pretty well centered. So you do this enough times, you really don't have much of a hole left. So a center drill will correct your center error. By the time I get up into the taper, now I'm going to put it on there centered, right there. So that's where it's going to sit. Looks pretty even off of where it's going to be. And this drill bit's a lot smaller than the hole is down here, so it can be offset quite a bit. See, I can be offset by that much and still hit the hole. So I'm leaning more toward being off a little bit to the inside. I'd rather make it a little bit thicker here, kind of even it up. That when you tighten this up, you don't make a high spot here in the gaskets here if you have a leak. So, alright, basically I was screwing around. If I actually knew what I was doing, I'd already have dimensions written down, right? Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and drill and tap this down. And I'm going to drill the hole all the way down and see if we hit it. If we miss, or come out the side, we would be what you call screwed. And that does happen. So the trick is to recover after you do that. Alright, so there's that. Go a little bit deeper with this. Okay. Where's my drill bit go? Here's my drill bit. This is a lousy drill bit. This is one I hand sharpened, so bad of a tip it is. We only have this much drilling action. Quite like using it for mock-up. Okay, it's a 159 drill. It's my longest one I got before it starts getting short. Drill it all the way down. Drill cutting fluid to keep it clean. Don't let it stick in the hole. Obviously, you break the drill bit off and here you're going to have problems. Lots of oil is good. Relatively high RPM is good. I'm about 1100 right now. Use that a little faster, but we're good. One thing I forgot to do, put my drill stop in there so I know about how deep I am. So we need roughly 2.5 inches of depth. So that'll be 2 right to there, a little over 2. I don't want to over drill it, so keep up on it. Okay. Change my cutter stop. 2.5 inches should be pretty close to about there. Just go through. So we drill through into something. So we take our air nozzle here. We're going to blow in the side of our cover down here. It's hard for you to see. So we're going to blow in our oil gallery right here, and the air should come out the top. A little bit is. Most of the air is blown into your pinion bush, but it's alright. Okay, so we did hit the oil gallery, which is a plus. So that's exactly what we wanted to do. I didn't even have to go this crappy long drill either. That's a good deal. Okay, so now we have a hole in the top. This goes all the way through. So right here. So that one goes all the way through now. So now what I got to do is I got to drill and tap this out for the 1/8 inch pipe tap, which is this big tap. So we're going to use this drill bit right here. I got to figure out how far I want to go in depth wise. So basically what I'm going to do, take our tap. Usually you got to roughly tap in there about this deep to be able to put these in. And then you calculate how deep you need to go with a drill. Looks like we need about 5/8 of an inch at least straight. So that'll be 5/8 of an inch from this cutting edge, not the tip. So you have another 1/8 of an inch for the tip. So we need to go in roughly 3/4 of an inch for depth. Go up here and take a quick reference to see where 3/4 of an inch is going to be. So it's going to be about that deep. So it's pretty close to the down in this area here. So I'm only going to go 5/8 of an inch because I don't want to push it. And I can always come back and drill a little deeper if I need to. So okay, I'm going to go ahead and put the drill in there just to drill that hole. So it's easy to come back and re-drill a hole deeper than it is to cut through and have a big problem. Doesn't matter how many times you measure it. The end result is if you screw up, you screw up. So take it slow and easy. Okay, now I can set my depth stop. So I have this here, goes on the mill. Gives me a stop location up here up high. So it's about 5/8. Well, first thing you gotta do is bring it down to where it's going to be touching something. Alright, now we go about 5/8 of an inch. Okay. That's my first spot to cut. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and Punch the hole out right there. Speed about 100. Looks good. Zero out where I was at with my readout. Which you can see. Drill out. Put our tap in here. Use a drill chuck to run it through. Make sure your drill chuck's not going to hit anything in here. That would cause a problem. That would definitely be a bad thing. Now, this is going to spin in here pretty quickly. Called power tapping. Get our T-handle here. Maxing out the T-handle. Made it though. We're going to cut deeper. Need room for my arm. Okay, that's about all we're going to go, so I think we're pretty deep. We'll probably hit the bottom of our hole. Pull this out. Blow the hole out. It appears that we are close to bottoming. I don't think I bottomed it completely yet, but it's close. Okay, we're going to take our fitting here. Take a look at it and see what it looks like in the cover. Now, this is not the one I'm going to use, but it's a genuine Harley fitting, so it gives me a good idea where things are at. Okay, that's pretty tight. Looks like I got the depth right off first shot. Looks pretty good. I'll try the other fitting just to make it an average. So you can see how we got a couple threads left right there, and I can still tighten this up a little bit tighter, but it's pretty snug right now. You don't want to have it completely bottomed out in there, but you do want to have a couple, at least 3 threads of real thread in there holding it. So that looks pretty good. And you can see how it's pretty well centered between this side and this side. And we already know we hit the hole with drills, so we're good. Pull this out. So there's what the hole looks like down there we did. I don't think the tap bottomed out in the bottom all the way, but it's pretty close. Okay, now I'm going to take the other piece here, which is just an aircraft style. And let's get a comparable in size, because these things vary all over the place in what sizes they are. And I don't know where the fitting is we're going to actually use. So I'll go ahead and use this one for now as a test. And this one looks like it's going to be just about right also. So I'm going to screw it in there a little ways. Of course, every time you screw it in, you get a little bit further in. And once again, we got a pretty good thread engagement there. And you can see how we got good 3 threads showing. So this one looks like it works pretty good also. So until I find the correct piece, I think we're pretty good. And I'm really close to bottoming out in the bottom of the hole, but I'm not. So I think I'm going to go ahead and just kiss it just lightly with the drill. Give another 30 thou in depth just in case. That way I can get another 2 more threads up here if I need it to go deeper. So, like I said, some of these fittings are pretty damn thick and you have to hog them holes out a lot. So I'll go ahead and do that. Now the other thing you can do after you do all this is you can go ahead and put your fitting in the hole here again. Go like that. Take your socket. This is a 1/2 inch hex. It's a bit bigger. So you can see how close are the edge right here. So you can go ahead and take a felt tip pin. Something with a finer tip on it. Preferably not black. I like orange or red. For whatever reason it seems to show up better when you're looking for it. So then we just go ahead and hold this in here and just mark it. And the light does not help, does it? Okay. So now I got a pretty good idea where we're at here. So I can cut this cover back right here until the edge of that line. Or as you can see, I can actually go halfway through the line to the same as here. So I can make a nice round boss like this cover here is. So it looks more like a stock part made for it. You can see how much bigger this is, and this, the socket's about the width of my line. So if I want a nice boss like that, I'll just grind this right back to that mark right there and make it look nice and clean. So we'll do that with my rotary grinder, the old burrs, and instead of porting head with the burrs, I'll be doing a little sculpting here with the cam cover looks like. So I'll get this cleaned up and we'll probably come back and I'll show you that here in a little bit. First I'm going to drill this a little bit deeper, just in case I need to go a couple more threads down. So, but for now I'm going to leave it at that depth. I'm not going to tap it any deeper, but I'm going to drill a hole deeper just in case. Alright, so that's where we're at for now, so you can get an idea how we're doing it.